1. Hi, my name is Lily Palmer. This is my audience member, Peyton. And today I am going to be giving a speech on how fashion has changed women's bodies throughout history. The phrase beauty is pain has been an iconic saying for countless years. However, when you dissect the meaning, why is beauty pain? The answer is that we make it that way. For centuries, women have been altering their appearances through means of binding, cutting, or injecting things into their own bodies. The goal of all of this is to fit into the beauty standards of an ever-changing world, whether it be attempting to change your silhouette, your facial features, or sometimes even your bone structure. However, fashion trends and beauty standards keep demanding more and more of women. Throughout history, foot binding, corsetry, and plastic surgery are all ways that women have been able to alter their bodies in the name of fashion. The first of the three that I'm going to start with is corsetry. And of all of the forms of beauty modification, corsetry has been named one of the most dangerous without being an invasive surgery, which essentially means that corsetry doesn't involve any kind of injection or any kind of take away from yourself. So corsetry originated in 1000 BC and is continuing to be ever increasing in popularity. Corsets are meant to be worn around the waist and the chest area and commonly have steel boning inside as well as laces or hooks on the back. They're meant to accentuate the waist and give more of an illusion of an hourglass figure. The corset reached the height of its popularity during the Victorian era, and the following images that I'm about to show you are from an article by Susan Isaac, which is called The Dangers of Tight Lacing, The Effects of the Corset. And as you can see, the rib cages on these are severely altered. This is the rib cage of a normal human, and then this is the rib cage of the average Victorian woman who practiced corsetry regularly. So as you can see, there is definitely more of a V shape rather than going outward. So this was to accentuate the waist, but in doing so, you would condense the organs in the rib cage right here, which could lead to organ failure or organ damage, and commonly led to faintness in women due to not getting enough oxygen to the brain. Also in her article, Isaac said women were often laced so tightly that their breathing was restricted, leading to faintness. So that is also backed up by Isaac as well. Women during this era would achieve waists as small as 16 inches. Leigh Summers wrote Bound to Please, A History of the Victorian Corset, in which she discusses the effects of corsets on pregnancies. So in a direct quote from her, pregnant women wanting to hide their bumps often sought out corsets. These corsets were modified so as to not constrict the whole abdomen, rather just the upper portions above the navel. The after effects of this include birth defects on the child, including skull damage, blindness, and even asphyxiation. The second form of body modification I will be talking about today is Chinese foot binding. So in ancient China, it was a very common practice for young women to undergo. A study done by a group of scientists in 2013 gives a good description, in my opinion, of what to imagine when thinking of foot binding. It states, foot binding is a special custom from the ancient times to modern times, mainly for women of Han nationality. They use cotton and silk to swathe the feet of girls and make front ends sharp and restrict the free growth of both feet. With the gradual growth and development of the feet, the arches of the foot are extruded high and eventually form the foot shape of the 3-inch bound feet. This practice was, what the study goes on to describe later, a form of keeping women from running away, as well, or as their bone structure didn't really allow them to run that well. So I actually have some models right here for that as well. This one might be a little bit hard to see, but over here you can see the woman that has undergone foot binding versus the woman that is just demonstrating a regular human foot. You can see that the toes are curled under the ball of the foot right here, so all of the toes are actually under here, and I can show you that in this one right here. So again, this is a normal foot compared to a bound foot. So the toes are actually curled all the way under right here, and you can see the 3-inch pointed shape that they were talking about earlier versus a regular foot. Michael Richardson wrote an interesting journal that states Cummins et al. Found women with bound feet were more likely to fall than those with normal feet. Uh, this increased risk of falling was 2 times more likely in women 80 or older and 1.47 times more likely in 70 to 79-year-olds. Women with bound feet were also less able to squat and less able to stand up from a chair without assistance than women with normal feet. They also had 14.3% less functional reach, which is a test of balance, and 5.1% lower hip bone density. So, this ancient standard of the 3-inch bound feet was something to live up to. In the majority of its lifespan, noble and high ranking women would typically be the ones to practice foot binding. So, at the early stages of its life, it was um, more of a social status thing. The third the third form of body modification that I'm going to be talking about today is plastic surgery. So, plastic surgery is definitely a more modern solution to beauty standards, and as of late, these procedures have gained massive popularity. Women today go in to get lip injections, lip fillers, or get fat removed or vacuum out, like liposuction, enhancements to dramatize their figures, the whole 9 yards. And according to Tyler Safran, who wrote Evaluating Safety in Hyaluronic Acid Lip Injections, the practice of plastic surgery today is so common because of its perceived ease and its impressive results. So, in fact, it was actually shown that from 2019 to 2021, there was an increase of 200,000 patients for cosmetic surgery. However, the negative side effects for certain surgeries are making a lot of people decide to reverse it. So, according to Lott, who aided in research for Can We Save the Implant, rib-based implant removal rates and risk factors following irrigation and debridement IND surgery, 59 of 181 patients, which is 32%, required an IND due to a wound problem. These patients underwent their initial implant procedure at a mean age of 4.6 to 3.8 years. In total, 29 patients ultimately underwent the implant removal. This shows the negative effects of the surgery outweighed the positives for a whopping 32% of the patients. So, women changing their bodies to fit into beauty standards is an idea that society will always be chasing. Throughout history, there's a clear pattern of women undergoing immense suffering in the name of beauty. Corsets can alter inner organs, feet binding can alter bone structure and mobility, and plastic surgery is very invasive and risky. So there's no clear ideal body shape, as society's standards are always changing. Harming the body is not an effective or healthy way to achieve personal satisfaction, and you can see that clearly through the patterns throughout history.